Hey everybody, this is Case Study QB, and I'm doing a new segment. This is a new clip. We're not going to spend too much time, but I wanted to give some love to our audience member, Cmt63. She has been aka Chris. She has been coming on the show a couple times and gave a couple super chats. So I really appreciate that. And then we were DMing, and she said a lot of interesting things. And I was like, you know what? Let me interview you and give the audience members some love on the channel. So Chris, say hi to the people.
Hi, everybody.
Uh,
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so yeah, it's here 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hey, Zeus in the chat, what's going on? And so the first question I want to ask you, Chris, you're in Florida, and by the way, can I call you Chris? I should ask you this before we
Sure.
started.
Yeah,
Okay, cool,
absolutely.
cool. Yeah, so what district do you live in Florida, and who is your rep? Let's talk about that.
Okay, my rep is Greg Stubbe, and I'm very disappointed in
Mm,
him.
mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. What's going on with him?
Okay, well, he is one of the representatives that voted to not accept the Electoral College.
Okay, interesting.
He
So is he a
also,
Republican or a Democrat?
he's a Republican.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I was really upset by that because um, that was that he was going against other states
Mhm.
who had certified their results. So I took that to mean um, if I don't like what is voted on in my district, I'll not accept that either. And I think that's a huge problem uh, because, supposedly the Republicans support states' rights, but they don't support the states' rights to certify
Mhm.
results that will
Mhm.
obviously, clearly,
Mhm.
uh, in support of Joe Biden as president. And I
Interesting.
have a
Yeah.
huge problem with that.
Yeah. Well, him being a Republican, I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, you think that in your district there's any opportunity for a Democrat to win, or is it like a clear red district?
No, actually, I just looked at the voter registrations like a week ago,
Yeah.
and we actually have in Charlotte County, because I live in Charlotte County,
Mhm.
we have we have 70,000 that currently are registered as Republicans,
Mhm.
but we have 40,000 independents and 40,000 Democrats.
Mhm. Wow.
So no, I
Yeah.
do think that we have an opportunity to promote
Okay.
someone who's not going to follow along the lines of what Stubbe has done. He
Mhm.
also voted to not honor the Capitol Police
Mhm. So you just
based
have
on the
a
word insurrection.
Yeah, you just have a terrible representative. We need to get him out. So, is there anybody who has declared that you know of that's a progressive in your race, and if or to go against this guy?
Well, we did have a guy, Alan Ellison, who was running against him the last
Hmm.
time,
Yeah,
but Stu refused to debate
bait
him on
him.
anything.
Ah, my goodness. We got to
He
find a
wouldn't
way.
answer
That's something
anything.
that we got to do. We got to find a way to punish incumbents for not debating, and I'm not sure exactly how we do that yet, because you need to be able to publicize, like publicly shame them. But yeah, go.
That
I'm sorry
is
to cut you
why
off. What did you say?
local
Hmm.
that is why local papers are
Hmm.
so important
Hmm.
because if you one of the things that I've noticed that has happened in the last several years is that a lot of the actual uh, small town newspapers and uh, people that work in that area
Hmm.
have lost their jobs because these small town papers are closed.
Yeah.
And and all politics begins at a local level. And I'm
Hmm.
talking from your school district
Mhm. Mhm.
all the way up to a congressional
So
rep.
do you
You
have
know,
a
that's
local
local.
organization like a Our Revolution or a Working Families Party or a any progressive organization like that local to your town?
I don't think we actually do. I have spoken with the Democratic Party over here
Hmm. Hmm.
about stuff, but like I'm not really finding it. I think there's a lot of progressive that actually live
Hmm.
in this area,
So there we go. We got to
and
get them together. We got to find a way to work,
yeah,
build that organization. All right.
and I think
Mhm.
we need to have some kind of a meeting,
Yeah.
uh, like once a month, where
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, but
Yeah.
you all get in there and you all get to talk because we need to have the conversation. We need to have the ability to have the conversation
So I know that we have
about our.
COVID going on right now, so probably the best thing to do is do it over Zoom. But in the past, I've had where I've lived, there was a little organization that used to meet up, like maybe like you were saying once a month, and they would just talk politics. And I think that could be the opening door for building coalitions and building a base of people that would have their best interests, put their interests together and hopefully elect somebody in that district. So let's move on. You also talked when we chat in the DM, you had a specific strategy for Democrats, and I want you to go ahead and articulate that. So speak on that.
Okay, it just seems like the Republicans are the party of no,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's put their record out and show everybody what they're voting no on and
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing and what they're doing after things pass. Like we've had 3 ballot initiatives pass
Mm-hmm.
in Florida
Mm-hmm.
since 2018. Uh, the first one was
$15
to
minimum
allow
wage.
felons. Well, no, that just happened.
Okay,
But
that just happened. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
the first one was to allow felons who have served their time to be
Yeah.
able to vote.
Oh yeah.
The second one um, was for legalization of medical marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
and just recently we passed a $15 minimum wage. Now, our governor and our elected state representatives have messed with what was passed. They have tried to change the rules on what was actually passed.
Mm-hmm.
They went ahead and they tried adding on fees and all kinds of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
well, okay, felons can vote, but
Yeah.
they have to pay their fees. And
Yeah.
then they gave them no way to even find out if they owed any fees or who to go to get
Mm-hmm.
those fees paid. And there have
Mm-hmm.
been people who've been to Florida and paid fees when they could find out what they were.
Yep.
Recently, they have decided that they want to lower the THC levels in the medical marijuana uh, to a lower amount, I believe, so that people have to buy more of it.
Okay.
And the $15 minimum wage passed huge this past election, and they're trying to stop it from
Mm-hmm.
progressing up to the $15 minimum wage. And
Uh,
that's not what's done.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's something that, so you're saying this is something that Republicans are saying no on and they're trying to fight it. And Democrats need to find some way to strategize message to their constituents that, hey, this is what the Republicans are doing. We need to get them out.
Yes. And
Mm,
I believe that by showing their past voting record
mm,
publicly, even if they don't want to debate about it,
mm.
you can. There is a congressional record that will show that what they voted on.
100%. I
You
totally
know,
agree with that. I totally agree with that. We need to find, and I mean, and even at the federal level, you hear about the Democrats have to pass everything with reconciliation, which means that the Senate and the House, or a lot of the House. I think maybe I'm not even sure if at least one House represent Republican came over or not, but definitely in the Senate, zero Republicans came over to help vote for this COVID relief bill. So they need to find some way to message to the Republican base that, hey, these people are not for you. They're not trying to give you the $14,000 checks that came through, anything like that. So I totally agree with you. You have any last thing you want to say about the strategy before we move on to the next topic?
Well, I think that we just need to every week bring up what they voted against and how that is against the best interest of the people in the district. And the next week, while they're trying to explain or bullcrap their way through the last one, throw another one out there.
Gotcha.
And just make them keep explaining why they did what they did, because they have no good reason to have done it other than they just want to have the power. And that is ridiculous. And this stuff down here in Florida is different than where I'm from, because we're finding out that actually the county down here is where a lot of the power is. But our congressional representatives that we send, we need to vet them. And I don't care whether they're Republican or Democrat. Yeah, they need to be vetted. That they support, that they support ballot initiatives and the rights of other states to certify and accept that, because that's telling me that my congressional representative, if he didn't like how the election went and Florida did go to Biden, but if he chose to not accept that, he'd be willing to not accept it on the record.
Yeah.
And we have no right to do that.
I always wondered if the House was controlled by the GOP, if Biden would even be president right now. Matter of fact, I don't wonder that. I know that we would have a huge civil war right now, because the House and the Senate would have voted against, or they would have rebelled against the Electoral College and against the votes, and they would never certified it, and we would be in total disarray right now. So, I mean, like I said on the show yesterday, if I was the Democrats from the top to the bottom, from Biden to the Nancy Pelosi to Chuck Schumer, I would say until the Republicans deal with the insurrectionists who voted against Biden getting the nomination, until they deal with them, we will not be dealing with the GOP as a whole. Everything we would negotiate, all the bills amongst ourselves. Agree. Yeah.
And Joe Manchin needs to get in line and just realize that the will of the people has been denied by the Republicans.
Yeah, the most needs to be brought to heel, in the sense of saying he keeps wanting to work with the Republicans. Joe, why do you want to keep working with the insurrectionists? These people would not have America if it was up to them. Go ahead.
Well, I understand that he is from a state that is very red. And he's probably the only Democrat that could be elected there.
See, I don't know about that narrative, Jen. I'm Chris. I want to push back a little bit on that narrative, Chris, because West Virginia is a very populous state. And I'm not saying every state is populous or can go blue. You know, there's going to be red states, but I think West Virginia.
Candidate. Amy McGrath never should have been it.
Yeah, well, that's Kentucky. But I'm talking about for West Virginia, you know, I think they have a history of populism. And even Richard Ojeda, I know that Paula Jean Swearengin didn't win, but even if we had a Richard Ojeda in there, other than Joe Manchin, right? If we could get him in there, I'm sure he wouldn't have been this much of a hindrance as Joe Manchin is being right now. So let's move on.
They were doing a lot of things to Ojeda, though. I mean, he had physical altercations over run.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Let me just give some shout out real quick to our chat room. In Prison Labor says hello. Holly Horn is in the chat again. What's up, Holly? And she said hi to you, Chris. They said hi to you in the chat. I know
Hi.
you can't read it, but go ahead and finish your thought. I'm sorry, Chris, to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Ojeda was kind of screwed from the beginning because um, they were he got physically attacked. I mean, he was physically
Yeah, I
attacked
remember that. I remember that when he was
for
ran.
his
Mhm.
opposition.
Yeah, because I think he
Um,
ran for state legislator, and that wasn't even at. Or was that for the House? That when he was running for the House, was that when he was running for
that
the
was
House?
running for the House
Oh, okay,
because he
okay,
was a state legislature and he went out and
already.
stood on the line with the
Oh,
teachers to
okay,
get their
yes,
pay raise.
yes, exactly, exactly. Yes, yeah. So I think
But
we could
I
get somebody in
think he would
there.
be great.
I think we could get somebody better than a Joe Chris in there. So that's my point. So let's move on to the next thing. I want to ask you.
Wait
You
a
know,
second.
you
Wait a
said
second.
that the political junkies. Huh? I'm sorry. You said something.
I said, wait a second.
Okay.
Instead of going after Manson,
Okay.
we need to get rid of somebody else because I don't think we can. I honestly don't think we're going to be able to replace him. But there are people out there that we can replace in other states to
Mm.
get the votes that Joe Biden needs. Uh,
Well,
so I think we're going to have
yeah.
to
Joe
focus
Manchin's
on
gonna
that.
be. He's not going to be up for 4 more years. I mean, we need to put pressure on
Right.
him. I think we could, because I like what I think his name's Corbin Trent. He has a pack that they played radio ads over there in West Virginia. You know, then that kind of
Mm-hmm.
helped put pressure on him for the COVID relief bill. And I think they're going to play some stuff in Arizona for Kristen Cinema. But I think we could put
And
pressure. But I agree with you that we gotta set our sights on 2022 and 2024 for now. Yeah. All right. Yeah,
you need to
anything?
look at another
Mm,
seat. You need to look at another seat that we
mm,
can take,
mm.
maybe, obviously in a different state since he has four
And,
more
yeah,
years.
and Chris, we got a lot of Republicans retiring. Not only in, I think, mainly in the Senate, but I'm pretty sure in the House too. But yeah, we got a lot of opportunity for Democrats to win some Republican seats. Now the
Which
question
brings
is,
us
who are
to
they going to put up
Pennsylvania,
there?
which
So
we talked about Pennsylvania
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, exactly. So let's move on. So I want to discuss. So you said that you were worried, or we sound very centrist, the political junkies, and for people who don't know, I kind of formed the show with all my guys. These are guys I've known for over a decade, and we are
Oh, they're great.
all,
I
oh,
love listening to
yeah,
them.
yeah, we're all on the left, but we're on different sections of the left, right? So me personally, I consider myself more of a social democrat, and I'm starting to read more about socialism and communism. I might even go even further left if I read and I like what I read. But as of right now, I'm definitely a Bernie Sanders social democrat. And then you have people on the other side of the spectrum who are more establishment Democrats, right? But for the most part,
And I
everybody,
voted for Bernie twice.
yeah, yeah. So for the most part, everybody on the show is on the left. But I think you disagreed with us when we said that we think that Nina Turner is going to go to the right. And let me just clarify what I mean by that is people when progressives get into office, they don't typically go more left. They typically go towards the establishment, and that's what I mean by right. You know, when you vote for Nancy Pelosi instead of holding your vote, when you
Right.
different things that when you're giving money to moderates, that's a version of going right. That's all I meant by that. I'm not talking about they,
Okay.
drop Medicare for all completely. But even though there's been Justice Democrats who've done that, but I do not think at all that Nina's going to drop policies and go right in that direction. Go
I
ahead.
don't either. And I think Nina will fight if we don't get the student debt eliminated. I think she will fight for that
Yeah, I think so. I
because I
definitely
think
think
that
so.
is very important.
A
I
hundred
think that is
percent.
very important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the young people, I mean, I'm worried. I
Yeah.
have a 29-year-old and a 34-year-old, and I have
Mm-hmm.
two 10-year-olds and a newborn baby,
Oh
grandkids
wow, we're gonna
that I
grandson.
worry about.
Congrats. Yeah.
So the young people who are in that age bracket, need to participate more
Mm.
in electing people and knowing what they're actually voting for, because ballot language ballot language is different than what sometimes is put out there.
Yeah.
Like, people can have stuff in literature and the ballot language doesn't exactly match it, and it's the ballot language that is important. That's when I first became a Democrat, because I worked for what I thought was good,
Mm-hmm.
and my school district promised every elementary school and all the individual schools, they went and they asked the parents, like, hey, what do you guys want if we get this bond or this levy passed? Then we'll try to meet everything that you guys want. Well, they passed it. And then I went to the school board meeting and they're like, well, the ballot language didn't say that. And I'm like, what? I go, you had to go out and knock on doors and tell people that their school was going to get this. And this stuff, all politics is local. I'm talking from your school board to your, your mayors and your county people.
Yeah. 100%. If I could jump in here real quick, Chris, I did the New Jersey Progressive Power Hour with my man Charlie Cradaville this past Saturday morning, and that video, yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, you did see that, and so you know exactly where I'm going with this, where he talked about the local coup d'état, where the Democrat, not even the Republican in the district, in the local, at the local level, the Democrat wanted to close polling stations, and the Republican was fighting against it. Like, it was just bizarre.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on the channel. And I don't know if you have any last. Oh yeah, talk to me about the idea that you said you have about the dumbest letter of the week. In your hometown.
Okay.
Tell me about the idea.
Okay. So I get the paper every day, and I always go to the letters to the editor. And we need to read the letters to the editor in our local papers, because some of them are so dumb. They are so dumb. They are so biased, so one-sided. And I have never actually written back to any of these people because, again, you have to look at, they're not good. I can't say that someone is good or bad just by reading it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like what they wrote,
yeah.
But it's like, how'd they get this opinion?
Yeah.
How did they come up with this? Are they an older person who, we had a letter to the editor a couple weeks ago where a woman wrote in because she's doing in-home health care. And she's like, I'm just not making enough money. And she's like, and I love the people I work with and all this. And then we had somebody follow up, and she was like, well, I stayed home with my kids and my husband was able to support us. So if you can't make it on one of your makings, then you need to get a second job. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow. Terrible.
He said that she needed to get off her butt and get a second job.
So you're saying that, like, listen, look at the local papers and see who are the people writing and finding the funny, the bad takes and like talking about it on air.
Oh yeah, I think you should totally have people send you letters to the editor, because they're going to get a better idea of what you're walking down the street with.
Yeah.
You're gonna know that half the people that you pass on the street might have that opinion. And how can we reach out to them to be like, hey, I'm so happy that you were able to stay home with your kids, and your husband was able to make
Yeah,
enough
yeah,
money
yeah.
because he
That's
was able to
funny.
use his VA loan. You know, my grandfather was in World War II, and he was able to purchase a home that he couldn't have afforded unless the VA gave it to him. But you have to realize down here in the southern states, black veterans were not offered the same opportunities because
Yeah.
at the time when the VA loans were instituted,
Hmm.
it was dependent on the states to offer those loans. And a lot of the black people down here did not
Yeah.
have the opportunity to purchase a VA loan with no money down and have equity that they would have even more of
Exactly.
now.
And generational wealth, right? I totally agree. Hear you.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. I understand. So Holly Horn, she definitely agreeing with you in the chat. Said good point, and then said UBI. So of course, universal basic income. Yes, I would love to see 1,000 a month or $2,000 a month, Holly. And then the last thing she put, have you tried pulling yourself up by the bootstrap? You can't. That shows she's making a statement that it's hard for you to
You
pull
don't have
yourself up.
boots, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You
So
don't have a boot.
your idea has brought out this out of me, which is an idea that I'm working on. I didn't want to announce this just yet, but since it's us and just us loyal audience, my loyal audience members that love you guys for always checking us out. I'm working on a website where first is for the political junkies. We're going to be producing the site through this website, but I'm going to open it up to audience members, and maybe to help support the channel, pay $1 a month or $2 a month or $5 a month, and maybe there's different levels. But then you guys
Definitely do that.
members will be able to would be able to help produce the show. And I'm still working out the kinks of what exactly I want to do with it. But to your idea, you'll be able to go to this website, click on the enter the URL or enter the letters to the editor link, and then we'll be able to see it. And if we like it, we'll add it to the show, and we'll there'll be a toggle where you can see if it's definitely going to be if it made it to the show. So I'm thinking of making like drafts would be the suggested items, and then final would be what is final that you're going to know that we're going to talk about it on the
I
show.
would,
Yeah, what you
I
think
would
about that?
love to see you guys. I think I would love to see you guys discuss
Mhm.
some of these letters to the editor
Yeah,
because
and anything else that you want us to discuss, like graphics. I like to do memes of the week, and I like to any other article. Maybe there's an article that you say, "Hey, I wonder what the political junkies take on that," and you could suggest it. I can't promise that we'll always take everybody's suggestion, and then maybe according to the level that you're at, we'll definitely take a suggestion. But we want to have more audience interaction, and we'll see if that
I think
works
we
out.
need that. I think we need that because we need to see
Mhm.
where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see where these people are coming from with these ideas
Hmm.
that are pretty outdated.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, I'm older, but I am so worried for your future,
Yeah. Yeah.
my grandkids' future, on stuff that's important, and we do not need to go down any further on that 2.3 trillion that Biden is suggesting we should spend. And economists are saying the same thing as well.
Yeah.
We would be able to give people really good jobs
Hmm.
under that and have a better life for everyone.
100%.
Just because someone's a capitalist doesn't mean they
Yeah.
have to be greedy, and
Yeah.
a lot of them aren't. They help. They are people who are volunteering in your school, at the food pantry,
Mhm.
at your church and stuff like that. And I just think I do agree with Manchin on, yeah, we need to reach out to them. But as far as letting them get away with trying to diminish what we actually need. No, not at all.
No,
He's
not
wrong.
at all. Exactly, 100%. So, thank you so much, Chris, for coming on the show. I just want to give a shout out to Support Policies, Not Politicians, and who's also Vote for Socialism, Mary, on Twitter. And she said, thanks for the retweet. This retweet. Oh, I can't talk right now. Thanks for the retweet this morning. So I just want to show on the show real quick. You can't see it, Chris, but I'm showing the retweet that I tweeted. And it just talked about, are you allowed to film the police? And it was a very good video on your rights for filming the police. So everybody in the audience, check this out and learn your rights of what you can do to film the police. All right, everybody.
Well,
thank you.
they should.
Yeah, they should. I think body cameras should be mandatory. They should be always on, and that's the way.
They should not have the right to turn it on whenever they feel like it. That is complete bullcrap.
Yeah, they should.
Those things should be on from the time that they're working, until the time that they're done with their shift.
Exactly, and that's how it should be.
Ridiculous. And if they can't handle it, then they need to leave. If they can't handle it, they need to leave.
They need to leave. Holly Horn, thanks for coming out. Panthers Did It filmed. Yep. Support Policies, Not Politicians. Steve Bendone, thank you for coming out, my man. And I hope I'm not missing anybody. And Prison Labor, thanks for coming out. And much love to everybody. Chris, thanks for coming out, and I look forward to seeing you more in the chats. And this is our first audience appreciation. To the audience, if you want to be appreciated, if you want to come on the show, let me know. I'm thinking about opening up the Discord. We have a voice chat there, and I'm thinking about giving the audience love to be able to, give their opinions. Even maybe join the Political Junkies. We might go to the Discord and allow people to, if you want to show your face, you can show your face. If you want, and to mainly it'll be for you to just have like 10 seconds or 30 seconds to give your opinion on maybe something that we're talking about. We're trying to be as interactive as we can and also be as different from other shows as possible. Kyle Kalinske does a great job doing the news, and you have Humanist Report, you have Crystal. They all do great things that coverage of the news that I don't. Yeah. I don't want to exactly copy them. What you said, Chris?
Kyle and Crystal have a Substack, and it's really good.
Exactly. So I know that I don't have the charisma as Kyle, but I know that I have better technical skills than him, and I think that I can at least use my technical skills to make a better show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, Holly saying peace. So everybody, thank you. Adios. Have a great one.